calm. Good morning, Jiaxin and Julian. How are you?
We're okay, thanks.
Very well,
I mean, I
thank
never thought that would happen because literally I hadn't played cello for 12 years because I had this injury.
This was
and I had
after
to
your
stop
injury.
playing.
Yeah.
And it was a chance remark by our daughter, Jasmine. We were talking about this concert that happened in London last April for my actually on my 75th birthday. And I wasn't going to be playing. I was, and she suddenly said, "I wish I'd heard you playing concert, Dad." And she was 14 then, 15 now. And it started me thinking maybe I could do something again. And I did. And that was one of the results.
That was one of the... You composed that?
Yeah.
That's Jasmine
well,
for your daughter.
Well, I finished the piece. I actually wrote it before she was born. That tune came into my head. And I thought, maybe I can finish that and do this.
And then to go back...
So she kick-started the whole thing.
And to go back then and play it there for that anniversary concert must have been so emotional for you.
The whole thing was. The thing is, I'd sold my cello. And so I wasn't playing. I borrowed a cello for the concert and for that recording. And it feels so different. I was 30 years with the same Stradivarius instrument.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what happened to you? Why did you have to take the break?
It was in the middle of a concert, and suddenly I lost the power in my bowing arm, and I just felt I could hardly hold the bow. It was a really scary moment. And then I had lots of tests and things weren't working, all this. Then an MRI scan on my neck, and they found this herniated disc was actually pressing on a nerve and sort of blocking the power. And the operation, if I'd had it, would have been incredibly risky. And and then this surgeon, I saw 3 top surgeons and only one agreed to do it. And then he said, well, the thing is, it might not work anyway because that nerve could be irreparably damaged. I thought, this is not a good option. So I just had to make the decision to stop.
To stop playing...
Completely.
Cello. And because, Jiaxin, you're a world-class cellist.
Oh,
you know,
you.
you play together, it's beautiful. We'll get back to how you got into it. Was that difficult when Julian had to stop playing and you were continuing to play, obviously?
Yeah, it was very difficult because that time we were doing a lot of things together, 2 cellos and touring around. And also he has a lot of big concerts coming up, good engagements there. But suddenly we just have to make a decision. But the good thing about him, I always I admire that and respect that because he moved on. He's not like just sitting there crying, all those things. Yeah. He really positive, so I can do other things.
And make sure that you can do this. We have to go back to the start because it feels like, was this written in the stars? Like, your father was the composer, Julian Lloyd Webber. Your brother is obviously Andrew Lloyd Webber. Now, Jasmine is what you composed, but you, like, the music just must have surrounded
It did.
you.
I mean, we were living in this kind of run-down block of flats in London, and it was so noisy there. But my father had this weird contraption of a piano fitted up with pedals because he was an organist, so he could do his pedal work on the organ, and that was one. My grandmother was deaf, and so she would have the TV on loud, full blast all day long. We had a concert pianist, John Lill, living with us. Later, Tim Rice came as, Andrew's lyricist. It was mad. I mean, Andrew always composing musicals in one room, and I was playing cello all the time, and for a few weeks the trumpet I started learning. It was an agony for the neighbours, I tell you.
But in one way, it must have been just amazing, like just to have all that going on in a home.
Well, I thought it was normal, and then I went to other
people's houses where they were just having a cup of tea.
Yes, that's right. Hey, where's the music? What's happening?
Trying to play the cello over your deaf grandma listening to Coronation Street in the room next door.
That's right.
So, like classical music, right? Because you didn't go into composing, you went into playing.
I was always into playing, but it was always the cello. My mum, she specialised in teaching young children the piano. So, of course, she tried with me, and I couldn't get it. I thought it was very odd to be learning with mum, and I just couldn't get into it. But then she took me, she wouldn't give up. There was this tigress part of her that wanted me to get into music, and she took me to an orchestral concert, which they used to have in those days every Saturday, I think, for children. at the festival hall, and I saw the cello there, and I thought, this looks interesting. And if I asked to play that, maybe I can give up this ivory-keyed monster, I call it in the book.
That's incredible. And like, being surrounded by that, did you and Andrew ever try and compose anything together?
No.
No.
Look, I mean, he writes musicals. I'm a cellist.
I know, but even like that, if he sort of said, "Let's try something," let's have you play this.
We did the Variations album,
right?
And that was really was a hit album. It was #2 in the pop album charts, only kept off the top spot by ABBA, with a compilation which now wouldn't be eligible. Okay. So, in fact, anyway, that became the theme to the South Bank show.
Yes.
So we did do that, and we did collaborate on that. I mean, I work quite a lot on the cello technique on it, and but actually joint composition.
No, when you met, you clearly got along very well. Two fabulous cellists ending up together. Got married in 2009. You have Jasmine. You work together a lot. You're going on tour around Ireland, where you're going to be doing the music of Bach. What is that like, living at home together, playing cello together in this form?
This is your...
Like, Jiaxin, how is it?
Oh, it's interesting. We did usually after rehearsal, I can't talk to him for an hour. I have to digest myself.
No, this is
Why is that?
We were working towards this recording called A Tale of Two Cellos. So this is a long time ago. And, you know, both of us, perfectionists, right? So you're trying to get this result. We were trying to match everything up, all the fingering we did and the bowing. It had to be all exact together. So, yeah, it can be a bit challenging is the word.
But we usually request 2 different dressing rooms.
I love that idea. That's very clever idea.
I don't blame you.
I don't blame you.
I don't blame you.
But
no.
this show that you're going to be doing around Ireland, it's quite different, because the first half it's all music, but the second half then you open it up and you'll take questions from the audience.
We will.
You're talking about your book.
Yeah, I'm going to read a bit from
You'll read a bit from the book. So it's a lovely different
the clean
type.
bits of the book.
But it's a lovely different type of evening for people.
Yeah, I mean, it is a chance for people to ask questions, and it's intimate, you know, because you never know what people are going to ask.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, it's the best part, because they're really looking forward. Every night will be different.
The things I can say this now because I'm determined to do it. I wasn't going to play on the tour because I just came back for that one thing in London, but now I want to play. And I'm going to play. I'm going to play something, and I know what I'm going to play, but I'm not telling anyone. But the Irish will know it.
They will.
That's all I'm
there
saying.
we go.
So they get a nice surprise.
So how are you feeling? Like, how is...
Well, you see, this part, I went back to be tested by the same guy who told me there was nothing working and there was no reactions. And he said, it's better. He said, it'll never be right, but it's better. But it's this hand now, because, you know, if you don't play for... I'm 75. If you don't play for 12, 13 years...
Yeah.
I was running this conservatoire in Birmingham for 5 years, and there was no time. And also, I think, looking back, I was traumatised because I didn't want, you know, I couldn't play concerts and I couldn't play the standard I wanted to play, so I didn't want to play at all.
And I can imagine, and you talk about that, you're a huge music advocate. You say music is so important for children,
really
regardless
is.
of their background, how important it is to children.
Nothing to do with background. I just think music is everything, and for everyone.
But one thing that you do in the book, Bows and Arrows, double meaning, obviously, you really go in on some... Like, the classical music scene is cutthroat, is one thing you learn in this. And you kind of go... Like, you talk about the temperamental composers, the drunken conductors and composers you've had to deal with over the years.
Yeah. I mean, that's very true.
What do you do then? Like, what's that like? If you
it depends on the situation. But there was this occasion I was playing actually in New Zealand, and the conductor was so drunk that it was amazing. I was watching from the wings, and I was just about to go on and play this concerto with this guy conducting, right? And it was Tchaikovsky, Romeo and Juliet. I don't know. And there's one moment where the trumpets come in, 2 trumpets together, and he did this huge gesture like this, and it was 2 bars early, and one of the trumpets sort of spluttered, and
Oh, your mic.
The mic.
Don't worry.
Oh, dear.
Don't worry.
hello.
Hello.
No, so this conductor, anyway, he does this huge gesture, which has brought my microphone down. But he brought the trumpets in 2 bars early. It was chaos. And then I had to go on and play a concerto with this guy, and I actually have no memory of how we got through it.
But you got through it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You have no
got
memory.
through
He
it.
certainly has no memory of it either. I'll tell you
He
that
was
much.
sacked.
He was sacked.
He was sacked. You are going to be going all around Ireland, Northern Ireland as well, from the 25th of August to the 6th of September, hitting places like Derry, Belfast, Ballymena, Galway, Limerick, Dublin, Clare, Cork, Mullingar. People can find out more about that on from the venues and online. Bach, Bows and Arrows is what the tour is called. They're going to be chatting. They're going to be reading from the
And
book
a
Bows and Arrows as well. And a surprise
Surprise from you.
Looking forward to it.
and Julian Lloyd Webber. Thank you both so much
Thank
for
you
being
so
here
much.
today.
Lovely
Thank
to
you
meet
so
you.
much.
Oh,
So
thank
lovely to meet you.
you.
Thanks.